my boys can take you anytime, anywhere. I don't see no boys. I got them waiting.
It looks like we have a robbery in progress. Stand aside now.
Who are you?
I'm Super Dude, the teenage superhero.
Looky here, snacky pants. My name is Lefty Oaks Construction Worker, and you done already gave me my order about 10 minutes ago.
Who are you?
Who is it? Hey, his name is Kiki. Kiki, how do you feel?
I feel like going to the hospital.
What are you even doing up?
I thought we had a break-in.
What were you gonna do? Give him the funk?
I was gonna hit him in the face and then say, "Sax to be you."
That actually would have been dope.
Then join in the fight that would give us the right to be free. Do you hear the lobster scream?
Alleged falling out with co-star Kell.
It was more of a separation that kind of grew into, just the journeys of being adults, and then, time passes and more time passes and it just became ridiculous.
Kenan Thompson may have you cracking up on screen.
When you gonna break old Charlie off a piece of that too? And then I shook my head, did a little dance.
But trust, his real-life story is no joke. Behind all those iconic sketches and characters lies a roller coaster of drama, shady deals, and moments that'll have you side-eyeing Hollywood. From childhood fame
I'll buy some more. Man, my little brother can score on these guys.
to dodging career chaos and personal betrayals, Kenan's path to comedy royalty has been anything but smooth. Let's spill the tea on how he went from a Nickelodeon kid
Mom, Dad, this is Ishbu. Ishbu, meet my mom and dad.
Hello, Ishbu. It's nice to meet you.
to SNL's longest-running star.
I'm flushing my career down the toilet.
Well, now you don't have to. With the bathroom businessman.
And all the messy moments in between. Let's dive into the messiest chapter of Kenan Thompson's early career. The scandal that had him spinning and scrambling. The accountant disaster that nearly destroyed him. Picture this. You're in your 20s, fresh off the fame of All That and
It's Super Dude.
That's right. I'm Super Dude.
Keenan and Kell.
This is my very best friend, Kell. What's up, Black?
Thinking life's on easy street. You've got the fame, the money, the whole world in the palm of your hand. And your mom, just trying to look out for you, hands over the reins to this trusted accountant. He's even helping her clean up her tax mess. So, of course, he seems like a solid pick, right? Wrong. Big mistake. Because this guy, he was nothing but trouble. By the late 90s, Kenan's financial world came crashing down. That so-called trusted accountant who had full power of attorney over Kenan's money.
I want to go back to this $1.5 million. How do you lose $1.5 million? Because I know you said it, but I know people are listening like, how does that happen?
We gave that dude power of attorney when we shouldn't have.
Y'all were kids.
Yeah, I was a kid and my mom was trying to protect me, you know what I mean? And he had helped her out of her tax situations, like her and my dad's tax situations. So she thought she could trust him, but she could trust him with they 30 to 50 grand issues kind of. But when it's $1 million on the table, you never know what people gonna turn into. And apparently he turned into a demon. And I'm sure his karma has come back to him.
All that, and Keenan and Kell paychecks, poof, gone.
How much did the accountant get you for?
$1.5 million.
Damn.
Something like that. I mean, that was, my contractual deal at the time or whatever. But
For Good Burger?
For overall Nickelodeon existence.
Yeah.
For a few years or whatever. And then, I never saw none of it.
This guy was too busy lining his own pockets to do the actual work.
You want to spending more money to sue him and not get no money back.
1,000,000%, and I sued him for years and ended up winning. But I sued him because the IRS came after me, you know what I'm saying? And they were like, you haven't paid your taxes all the time. I'm like, well, that's what he was supposed to be doing. And he went and ran it. Don't y'all see? I ain't got the money. You know what I'm saying? So, but.
And Uncle Sam don't care.
They don't care.
At all. They want their money, so I got my settlement and it's on that person now.
Kenan did what anyone would do. He took this dude to court. He won the case, but guess what? The accountant was flat broke by then.
You couldn't sue the accountant or nothing?
I did, and I won, you know what I mean? But he can't pay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just paperwork, basically.
You want to spending more money to sue him and not get no money back.
1,000,000%.
So after all that drama, Kenan didn't see a single cent of the money he lost. Can you even imagine? All those hours of grueling work, giving fans the laughs they love, and for what? Absolutely nothing. Kenan had to start from scratch, going from a TV star to hustling just to pay rent. Talk about a rude awakening.
But as far as me getting that money back, and I knew it as soon as it happened, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I ain't never gonna see that money. You know,
Yeah,
I might as well just get back and start from scratch and just, you know, forget about it. If it comes back, great, but, you know, it has yet to. But I've been blessed in so many other ways. Like, I take those life lessons and just learn from them.
But did Keenan let that ruin him? Heck no. He picked himself up, dusted off the disappointment, and decided to rebuild his career. It wasn't easy. Hollywood saw him as nothing more than that goofy kid from Nickelodeon.
As long as you see me and my boy behind this counter, you talking to the man in charge.
But Keenan wasn't about to let that hold him back. He was on a mission to prove he was more than just a clown on TV. And trust, he absolutely did just that. Before we dive into the drama with Kell, let's take it back to where it all started for Keenan. Born on May 10th, 1978 in Columbus, Ohio, Keenan wasn't even a year old when his family packed up and moved to Atlanta, Georgia. And from there, the story was set. His mom, Elizabeth Ann Thompson, wasn't playing around. She knew her son was destined for something big. So she enrolled him in acting classes at just 5 years old. That's right, 5. By the time he hit high school at Tri-Cities, a performing arts magnet school, Keenan was already making a name for himself. His first big break came in 1994 when he landed the role of Russ Tyler in D2, The Mighty Ducks.
He dished you bad, G. Man, come here, man.
That was just the beginning. By the mid-90s, Keenan was a full-on Nickelodeon star, breaking hearts and taking names with his unforgettable characters on All That. We're talking Pierre Escargot.
Really? You think the script is funny?
You'll make it funny, so do good.
Super Dude. And let's not forget that hilarious Principal Pimple.
This is an outrage! This is a miscarriage of justice! Give me that club. I don't need this. You think you're French?
If you grew up watching Nickelodeon, you know Keenan was that guy. He was everywhere, stealing the spotlight, and let's be real, he had us all rolling. But little did we know, this kid from Atlanta was just getting started, and the roller coaster was about to get a lot wilder. Keenan and Kell. Now that was the ultimate duo in the 90s. These two were everywhere, from Good Burger.
Looky here, snacky pants. My name is Lefty Oaks Construction Worker. You done already gave me my order about 10 minutes ago.
To their iconic show, Keenan and Kell. Where fans couldn't stop yelling, "Who loves orange soda?" Their on-screen chemistry was undeniable, and for a while, it felt like they were a package deal, no separating them. But of course, reality came knocking. And when the camera stopped rolling after 4 seasons, things started to shift. As they both entered adulthood, it quickly became clear being a duo had made them famous, but it was also holding them back. They'd been Keenan and Kell for so long that people couldn't imagine them as anything else. And let's be real, Keenan wasn't about to let himself be stuck forever in the kid actor lane. He wanted to be seen as a serious adult actor.
We didn't want to be like 30 years old still trying to play a kid on Nickelodeon.
Someone who could command a role in Hollywood beyond Nickelodeon's slapstick humor. Meanwhile, Kell had dreams of his own, wanting to step out of Keenan's shadow and break free to chase new opportunities. So they made the tough decision to part ways. But don't get it twisted, it wasn't because of any major beef. It was about growth, evolution, and, let's be honest, some personal space. However, breaking away wasn't exactly smooth sailing.
Alleged falling out with co-star Kell. Keenan would confirm the falling out during the conversation and said,
It was more of a separation that kind of grew into, you know, the traditional terms of what a falling out is, which is like not a lot of communication.
Yeah.
Originally, it was just us, you know, kind of looking for our own individualism, basically, as adults, and kind of just taking a breather from being a duo. Because we both came into the game as, you know, individuals, and, you know, we were placed together because we worked so well together and all that. Yeah, it was just the journeys of being adults, and then, you know, time passes and more time passes, and it just became ridiculous.
Keenan hit his stride, landing roles in movies like Barbershop 2.
Hey, come on, Jimmy, man, just 2 seconds, bro. It won't take
time to
long.
go.
I promise we're done. Wait.
And eventually becoming the longest-running cast member in Saturday Night Live history.
Oh, and don't worry about the creaking down. We're not hearing it in here.
Well, the boy should be cricket. I mean, you don't never have 2 people out on this thing. Never!
Meanwhile, Kell faced a tougher road. His career started to slow down, and let's just say the spotlight wasn't quite as bright for him in those years. Now, the gossip? It was delicious. Fans were all over it, wondering what went wrong. Was there some secret beef? Were they low-key jealous of each other's success? The silence between them fueled the rumors, and the fact that they weren't seen together for years just made people's imaginations run wild. Were they secretly feuding? Did they even like each other anymore? The questions lingered unanswered for so long that it almost seemed like there was definitely something more going on. But time, as they say, heals all wounds. Over the years, the two reconnected and found their way back to each other. And in 2023, they made fans' dreams come true when they reunited to film Good Burger 2, a sequel to their cult classic.
Welcome to Good Burger, home of the Good Burger. Can I take your order?
Watching Keenan and Kell back on screen together felt like a time warp to the 90s, reminding fans of the magic that made them household names in the first place.
Sorry, the new adventures of Ed and Dex starts now!
Their journey from childhood besties to estranged colleagues and back again is a roller coaster of ambition, fame, and forgiveness. While their paths may have diverged for a time, their reunion proved that their bond they built during their Nickelodeon days was strong enough to weather the ups and downs of Hollywood. Fans couldn't be happier to see the duo back in action, proving that some partnerships truly are timeless.
Okay, it's almost in.
Kenan's journey into adulthood wasn't exactly the glamorous Hollywood dream. After Keenan and Kell wrapped up, he found himself in an awkward limbo. He had the fame, sure, but he was far from rolling in cash. Adult actor for hire was how he described it. A far cry from the high-energy Nickelodeon star fans adored.
And so then I went into being an adult actor for hire, and that is very hit and miss. So there was, some good jobs, like I did Felicity, that was cool. And I got to meet J.J. Abrams when he was young, you know what I'm saying? And that's like a priceless kind of a friendship, I would say, just because he's grown to be, such a major force in the industry. But it was like 6 months until Love Don't Cost a Thing. You know what I mean? And I was happy to get Love Don't Cost a Thing. It was my brother Nick's movie.
Nick Cannon.
We had a rap party at my house, you know what I'm saying?
His bank account was tight, and so were his opportunities. Kenan had to hustle just to keep the lights on, navigating the harsh reality of being a former child star trying to stay afloat. Then came Saturday Night Live, the game changer Kenan had been waiting for.
I can't believe you ordered all that.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm starving. I feel like I haven't eaten a decent meal in years.
But don't get it twisted, it wasn't all red carpets and champagne. Kenan was a sketch guy, the kind of performer who thrived in scripted collaborative spaces. Not out there on a stage trying to crack up a live crowd with a 5-minute set.
Left there and went to audition for SNL.
Do you remember that when you auditioned and they called you back and said you got the part? Do you remember that?
1,000,000%, because it was a long process. You know what I'm saying? Came to New York, straight from Chicago, from shooting barbershop, feeling great or whatever, and then seeing what you up against. And it was every black comic you could even possibly think of, right? So I had to do stand-up. At the stand-up New York, I had never done stand-up before. It was a nightmare.
His first audition at Stand Up New York, it was rough. Kenan's nerves were shot, and the crowd was not having it. He couldn't find his rhythm, couldn't connect, and he could feel the sweat dripping as he fumbled through his set.
I did 3 minutes of something terrible because I wasn't a stand-up comic. I didn't know how to address the crowd at all. I think I just started with.
So that was part of the audition. You had to do stand-up.
Yeah.
So you walked out there and was like, hi.
I don't think I said hi. I think I just went right into Al Sharpton or something, talking to Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know what I mean?
What?
Just in my, like a kid in his own.
But wait, there's more. His old partner in comedy crime. They were competing for the same spot. Talk about awkward. They exchanged pleasantries, but you could cut the tension with a knife.
And then I saw Kell, and I hadn't seen him in a while. You know what I'm saying? At the audition. And that was awkward. But it was good luck, or whatever.
Was this a friendly reunion or a battle for supremacy? Kenan knew he didn't nail it, but somehow the SNL producers saw something in him. They called him back for a studio audition. Now this was more his scene. He stepped onto that studio set like he was home. The cameras, the lights, the energy, it all clicked.
And yeah, it didn't go well, but they saw something, and I got a call back that was in the studio. that felt more comfortable. I was used to that, you know what I mean? So I did that same kind of shtick with a couple more minutes added on or whatever. And then I went home for a week and didn't hear nothing, you know what I mean? And that was just like torture.
You thought it was a wrap?
I thought it was over. I thought I ruined it. And, you know, SNL is one of those jobs, if you don't get it, you live with that, you know, kind of for the rest of your life. Or if things go left when you do get it, you know what I mean? Like, that's not an experience you really just forget or like be like, oh, that's in the past, I can just move on. Like, it stays with you.
Still, SNL wasn't done with him.
So, yeah, that week was torture. And then they called and they were like, all right, we want you to try one more time at the Laugh Factory. I was like, more stand-up, you know what I mean?
Why didn't you just tell him I'm not a stand-up?
I didn't want to rock the boat, you know what I mean?
You don't tell them no, you're trying to get a job. How you doing
but
that?
stand-up is, man, stand-up is the most difficult thing I feel like anybody can do in comedy.
It really is. And I also wasn't really aware of the Second City and groundlings of it all because I'm not an improver. I just like started working, you know, from like age 12, you know, from doing commercials to theater to, you know, movies or whatever. So I didn't really have a chance to like go to school for performing necessarily. Like that was my school. So yeah, more stand-up, and I, you know, didn't want to rock the boat.
And there was Kenan, the sketch guy, thrown into the deep end. Of course, he went last, and the anxiety was real. He was out of his comfort zone, sweating bullets, knowing he was surrounded by professionals. But Kenan pulled it together. He made it through the set, even if it wasn't his best work.
It was a terrible night for me because the other 4 people were actually stand-ups, you know what I mean? And they were killing J.B. Smooth, Finesse Mitchell, you know what I mean, D-Ray.
Oh,
like,
man.
it was, you know, it was a lineup, and they was destroying. And then I went up there and did my little shit, and like.
Where were you? Were you first? Were you fourth? Were you second?
I was last.
Oh.
Yeah.
You went after D-Ray, JB, and Finesse Mitchell?
Jesus Christ.
Yep. And Kyle Grooms. And like
Kyle Grooms too?
Yeah. I think Kyle, but I know Kyle was in New York, but I think he was in LA too. But I know I went last after a bunch of brilliant comics. And I was so nervous, man. I was drinking out the sink because that was the bathroom and like the bar was over there. So I didn't want to like go back and forth, you know what I mean? Like interrupt or anything like that.
So you really wanted to kill it, but you couldn't get to it.
You know, but I was so nervous. Like I was just like, man, I can't quench my thirst. I'm drinking water.
New York water
like,
back then was, I'm sure it's tequila.
Filling it up with the sink water and like still, and I was just like crazy nervous. But then after that, they called the next day. And then I think they called on a Saturday and I was in New York on Monday.
He'd made it to SNL. At the time, he became the first cast member born after the show premiered in 1975, which was a huge milestone. But let's be real, his road to finding his groove on the show wasn't a walk in the park. In the beginning, Kenan struggled. He was still figuring out how to pitch ideas, how to mesh with the writers, how to find his voice. But then, in his 5th season, boom, he hit it with the Scared Straight sketch.
We beat up a kid because he's poor. Hey, boy, shut your damn mouth.
Finally, Kenan had found his footing. From there, it was no turning back.
And now you're the longest running cast member.
Not only did he survive the grind, but he thrived. That awkward kid from Nickelodeon had gone from barely making rent to holding down the longest gig in comedy history.
You know what I mean? Like just money enough for the rent kind of thing.
Talk about a glow up, from stumbling in auditions to becoming an SNL legend. Kenan Thompson's journey was nothing short of a comeback story of epic proportions. Kenan struggled at first on SNL. He didn't feel comfortable until his 5th season when his Scared Straight sketch finally clicked with the writers and audience.
I was guys, when did you get comfortable in Saturday Night Live? Because you had to be nervous, you know, when you first starting off, you with all these people that's been there before. And when did you get comfortable?
It took a while because you have a writer's burden on SNL, and I didn't come from that. You know, I just came from being given scripts, and then I do what I do. And, like, if we ad-lib something, then they'll put it in or whatever, but I was never, like, part of that process. So it was, like, a learning thing as I went along, and I don't think I was, like, comfortable until I got my first personal idea on the show, and that was, like, season 5.
Wow.
Yeah, Scared Straight. Shout out to Scared Straight.
Why that role in particular?
What, Scared Straight?
Yeah, like, why did that make you the most comfortable?
Well, that was just the first one that I got on, and I was like, oh, I finally, like, made my sense of humor make sense in this place kind of thing. You know what I mean?
And remember that controversy in 2013? When asked about the lack of black women on SNL, Kenan's comment, "They just never find ones that are ready," sparked outrage. People took it as a dig at black women, but Kenan insists he was misquoted. He meant that the pool of candidates was small, not that black women weren't talented. He's still frustrated about how that moment was spun, especially since he's always credited the strong black women in his life for shaping him.
But yeah, that was part of the conversation that I was talking about when it was time to get more black women in the show. You know, it's just like my quote that was heavily misquoted or whatever was just the fact that, you know, the pool to choose from isn't large, basically, as far as the people that are ready to do that show. Like, it's not, I personally didn't know about the Groundlings in Second City, you know what I'm saying? So let alone, you know, a whole bunch of us knowing about it. The quote that they say I said was that, you know, black women ain't funny, but that's not what I said. It was like...
That's better, though. That's a good one.
That one goes viral.
You know, when you meet me, you know I'm not outside the culture like that. You know what I'm saying? And I don't disrespect my black women at all. You know, like, because, like, how would my mother look at me? How would my sister look at me? My cousins, my this, that, my that. I'm not.
Let's not forget Kenan's personal life. He married model Christina Evangeline in 2011, and the couple has 2 daughters. But even that chapter hasn't been without drama. They separated in 2021 after a decade together. Kenan's career highs are undeniable. From Fat Albert...
I never thought about it. We just enter.
Snakes on a Plane...
The poison. Man, I ain't okay, I'll do it. What? Oh, there'll be no And Troy, get this man away from my ass. Are you sure? Yeah, we sure.
To his Emmy-winning work on SNL. He's proven his versatility time and again. He even got his own sitcom, Keenan, in 2021.
You want to be a serious news guy now? Just remember the 3 Ds. Deny, deflect, Blaine, Dwayne, DeFrost. Now that's chicken. Yeah, you right.
Shut the hell up.
Though it only lasted 2 seasons. And in 2022, he received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a well-deserved honor for someone who's been grinding since childhood. And while he's been busy with comedy and acting, Kenan's also dabbled in writing. His book, When I Was Your Age.
And you know, you got a new book out, When I Was Your Age.
I should have brought the book.
I wanted to hit just to have it propped up.
I'm slipping, my bad.
When I Was Your Age, life lessons, funny stories, and questionable parenting advice from a professional clown. Yeah. First of all, what made you want to write a book? Because you always have been a very private person.
Yeah, it's the longest title ever.
Reveals a lot about his ups and downs, including a chapter titled, I'm Glad I Went Broke, where he reflects on the accountant disaster.
Yeah.
You got a chapter titled called I'm Glad I Went Broke.
Mm-hmm.
When did that happen? You've been working since at least 94.
Yeah. Like, I've been blessed to continue working, but yeah, I had a bad accountant, and it came to the light around 99, like around 2000, which was really bad timing because that's right when I left my consistent gig, you know what I'm saying? So then I went into...
Today, Kenan Thompson is worth an estimated $13 million. And he'll always be remembered as the longest-running cast member on SNL, a title he still holds. He's also living proof that you can bounce back from betrayal, reinvention, and a little bit of messiness.